Hello, I'm Justin Spears, joined here with Michael Lev, and Arizona getting the win over the Colorado Buffaloes, 42-34. They advanced to 5-5 on the season, and just like that, Arizona, they could split the next two games and make it to a bowl game. Khalil Tate had a career high tonight, 350 passing yards, 17 of 22. Was that probably, in passing-wise, I mean, we've seen what this guy can do with his legs. We saw it last year against Colorado. Was that probably his best passing performance in his time at Arizona?
That's a good question. I don't know. I would say maybe it's right up there with the Foster Farms Bowl.
Yep.
Similar. What was interesting about this performance tonight by Khalil was a lot of it was like what you call kind of schoolyard ball, you know?
Yeah.
Plays you'd make out at recess, right? Play kind of breaks down. He scrambles. He buys time. Finds someone down the field. And what makes him so good at that is he's got an incredibly strong arm, right? Mm-hmm. And he's able to throw with just as much velocity when he's on the run as he does when he's standing in the pocket.
Yeah.
And he's uncannily accurate down the field on these plays. Like someone in the press box mentioned that he seems like he's almost more accurate when he's throwing on the run than when he's just has a clean pocket and it has a regular setup.
Yep.
You know, it's really just kind of his natural ability coming out. And he started tonight 3 for 6. He finished his 17 of 22. That means he went 14 of 16. You know, from that point forward, his highest completion percentage of the season, career high in yards, matched his career high in touchdown passes. He beat Colorado tonight in a completely different way than he beat them last year.
And, you know, you bring up a good point of him throwing on the run. It seemed like whenever he strolls out and he scrambles and then he puts his foot in and he throws it while he's rolling out, it seems like it's almost downhill, where as opposed to when he's sitting in the pocket, I don't know if he can put enough oomph on it or some muster. I don't know what it is, but it just seems like he's way more accurate when he's on the run. And then, you know, there was a couple throws tonight where I was like, how? I mean, there were great catches, but at the same time,
how did he do that? There was
like,
the
how
one.
How did he do that? The one to
Devon Cooper down the sideline, the one to Tony Ellison down the other sideline, where we saw this a lot last year, where he was just dropping the ball right into the bucket, right?
Yeah.
Like right in stride, uncanny ability to do that. What Kevin Sumlin mentioned after the game really stuck out to me. He said that as the more healthy Khalil has gotten, the more confident he has gotten. You know, the last 2 weeks he has looked fast again.
Really fast.
He did not look fast during that stretch when he had that ankle issue. He only ran once, really. Tonight it was that 125-yard scramble, and again the crowd got all kind of all crazy when that happened. And Khalil was fired up afterward. But you know, when he had those ankle issues, he couldn't buy time like he was. Remember how many times did he just sort of like throw the ball out of bounds because he couldn't get away from the rush?
Yeah.
I'm not sure it's like textbook quarterback 101 type stuff that he's doing tonight, but he has the ability to do it. And as he becomes more knowledgeable, as he becomes more comfortable in the offense, he's only going to become more effective.
And, you know, Arizona, although I don't think it was as complete of a game as last week was against Oregon.
Definitely not.
Definitely not. But still, I mean, they didn't have a block punt. But, you know, Josh Pollock was able to hit the field goals that he's normally used to making, which are chip shots, and then leaving the long shots for Lucas Haversick. He had a 55-yard field goal to end the first half.
Big play.
So that's the special team side of it. And then the defense side of it, you know, Colorado, they get the ball trailing 42-34, and then Troy Young gets a pick late in the game, which, I mean, it didn't necessarily seal the deal for Arizona, but they were able to put together a drive in which they ran out the clock. Yep. And plus, P.J. Johnson, the defensive line, they were able to kind of get to Steven Montez tonight and kind of rattle him a little bit. And then plus, you add in Khalil Tate, J.J. Taylor having a career high for carries. It just seemed like it wasn't as complete as last week against Oregon, but they were still able to have some positive impact on all three sides.
Right. The way that Kevin Sumlin put it was, you know, it wasn't perfect, right? It's never going to be. Things are going to happen during a football game. But if you keep playing, you keep trying, keep playing hard for 4 quarters, keep executing for 4 quarters, good things are going to happen. Special teams had some issues. Okay? Gave up a punt return.
Yeah.
59-yarder in the first quarter.
Yep.
Missed an extra point. Stanley Berryhill replaced J.J. Taylor on kickoffs to give J.J. a little break because Gary Brightwell wasn't available tonight. Stanley made some bad decisions back there, okay? So there were issues on special teams. But as you mentioned, Lucas Haversick made a couple long field goals, right? It's critical plays in this game. If he doesn't make those field goals, Colorado can kick a field goal down here and maybe tie the game or take the lead.
Yeah.
All right? Defensively, tons of penalties.
Yeah.
Right? Some of them were debatable.
Yeah.
Some of them were legit, but tons of penalties. Most of them were on the defense, 12 for 129 yards. But when they needed to come up with stops, they did.
Yeah.
I mean, Colorado had the ball inside the 15-yard line down there twice in the first quarter. They only came away with 3 points.
Yep.
Right? That easily could have been 14-0, 17-0, 21-0, right? If the defense doesn't come up with those plays. Then the offense, right? J.J. fumbled early in the game.
Yeah.
Khalil threw an interception late in the game. Offset by the fact that J.J. made an unbelievable run to help them run out the clock. It's 3rd and 9 down at the 2-yard line.
Yep.
Down there. Squirts through the defense, able to keep his balance. I mean, he's already running low to the ground.
Yeah.
I mean, he was like inches off the ground, and he just kept going, almost kind of like military crawled, kind of out to the 15-yard line. Then he had another 21-yarder, and then Khalil just making plays.
Yeah.
You know, he made a couple, kind of dumb decisions early in the game where he ran out of bounds, where he could have just thrown it out of bounds and not lost any yards. Made up for it and then some. 5 touchdown passes, that big scramble, a high completion percentage. Was it a complete game like last week? No. But it was good enough to win.
I think my favorite part about this game, believe it or not, we saw a tight end make a catch.
We did. This is an amazing stat. This is an amazing stat. I wish I had gotten it in my story. I'll put it up online later. But that was the first reception by an Arizona tight end since Pac-12 play started.
Wow.
They had 4 receptions by tight ends in the first 3 games of the season, had not had one since. I think Bryce Wolman had been targeted twice, I want to say.
Yeah.
Since then, there was one time in the Oregon State game and then one time in the UCLA game. Tonight they ran a nice little bootleg pass, got him out into the right flat for a completion. He was probably the most surprised guy in the building. Hey, they're throwing the ball to me. I would like to see them mix in those little bootleg type plays a little more often. I think they can be really effective. They're running the ball well. It happened out of the pistol formation. No one's paying attention to the tight end, right? You're not game planning for the tight end when you're going up against Arizona. But hey, big picture-wise, Justin.
Yes.
5-5, right? Bye week comes at a great time. Scotty Young got banged up tonight. Some other guys have been dealing with some injuries. They got a shot now, right? Cheez-It Bowl, Sun Bowl, this stuff is in play.
And you know what's crazy is the Pac-12 South, mathematically, is still not out of reach. I mean, Arizona could still mathematically win the Pac-12 South. And think about it. I mean, they lost by a point to UCLA and USC. Think about how they shot themselves in the foot against USC here at home. Even though USC committed all those penalties, USC was still able to come out on top.
I think USC was the better team.
They were the better team, but it's just. But those 2 games right there, they were very winnable for Arizona, believe it or not. And we're now
definitely UCLA.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
And that was with Rodriguez.
Think about it. They lost by 1 point on the road. They were missing Khalil Tate and Leif Freck.
Yeah.
J.J. Taylor had a 56-yard touchdown that turned into a 55-yard run and a fumble into the end zone. Loss of possession. In a game they lose by 1 point, right?
Yeah.
So easily could have gone the other way. Nothing they can do about that now. But Colin Schooler said after the game that when they were 3-5, they all kind of got together and said, you know what? There's nothing we can do about what's happened before. All we can control is what we do from this point on, and let's finish the season strong. And the last third of the season, the last 4-game stretch out of 12, that would be a third, right?
Yep.
They're 2-0. And it's going to be tough to win at Washington State.
Really tough.
One of the hardest places to play in the conference, one of the hardest offenses to scheme against because they pass on pretty much every play out of 5-wide formations. So it's a totally different kind of ball game. But even if they lose that game, come back home at 5-6 with ASU coming to town, chance to win that game. It's also possible that ASU will be 5-6, which would be kind of fun and exciting, right? Winner goes to a bowl game, loser goes home. That's what the Territorial Cup should be all about. You know, of course, it would be great if they were playing for the Rose Bowl or something like that, but we'll take what we can get.
But man, what bowl game would that be for Arizona ASU?
Probably the Cheez-It Bowl, which used to be the Cactus Bowl up in Phoenix.
I'm so down.
Chase Field, conceivably the Sun Bowl in El Paso, which is there's a lot of prestige behind that. They played there a couple of years ago.
Yep.
against Texas El Paso. Big game for Brandon Dawkins that night. Colin Schooler had a big night. I think the final was 63-16, something like that.
They know how to win out there in El Paso.
Yes, they do. They're not going to be playing UTEP, though.
No.
So it's probably
going
to be a little harder. Yeah.
All right. Well, Arizona, they get the win over Colorado, 42-34. They advance to 5-5 on the season. Now they go into a bye week, and then the following week they take on Washington State. Again, don't forget to download the Wildcats app. It's available on the App Store and Google Play. And subscribe to the Wildcats podcast on Apple Podcasts. For Michael, I'm Justin. Thanks for watching.